as your wife, even me, Seth, I used to say, are you not going to look for something else? I remember there were times when I think I even sent you some job openings, Seth, that apply. Like apply for, you can be, my husband is a sharp guy. He can be collecting more than what he's collecting now and all that. But a few years down the line, when some promotions started happening, I said, thank God you did not listen to me. So what did you see? What are the things that made you stay? Because I hear a lot of people these days saying that the fastest way to rise is to switch between companies. You switch from here, you switch from here. But I have seen you rise in the same company. I joke, even though you don't believe me, but I tell you that you are your company's MVP. Like the way they used to hold my husband like egg. I said, even me, the wife, like sometimes I used to feel like I'm not appreciating him the same way they used to hold him like this. My name is Adekoya, and I'm your host for Tiki Talks. What is Tiki Talks, you might say? Tiki Talks is your career and business podcast where you learn about how to grow and how to navigate on your career and business journey. Did you just finish school? Are you 0 to 5 years out of school? There's definitely one or two things that you can learn on Tiki Talks. So make sure you follow us on YouTube and IG. Tiki Talks is TIKKYTALKS, Tiki Talks. Ensure you're following us and catch up on all the other previous episodes that we have on YouTube and on Instagram. See ya. Hi, and welcome to Tiki Talks. I'm struggling to behave myself on this episode because I have, oh my God. So I have my husband today. Yay! Please pray for me, guys, that I behave myself, because I don't want to receive something. All right, so on today's episode, I have my husband in the person of, that sounds so serious, but let me say it. In the person of, what will I call you now? Baby. I don't even know how to address him in this episode, because at home he's baby. So if baby mistakenly comes out of my mouth, please forgive me in advance. But now we have to be official. All right, so welcome with me, my baby. I'm sorry. Welcome with me, Mr. Adetowun Adekoya. So, Mr. Adekoya. I used to use that to laugh at him at home. When I want to be serious, I'll say Mr. Adekoya. Okay, let me be serious. I don't think there's anybody that knows as much about your career than I do, right? I've been privileged to have a front row seat, from the time when he was in school. We went to school together. We both went to University of Lagos. And now he's an executive, when quote. Now every time he comes home and then he says, oh, we're having a strategy meeting. And I'm like, oh my God. Of course I have to say it. I say, hey, strategy. That means that if what, every time strategy. You are always strategizing every time. I can imagine if I'm working in his office, I would just be laughing. I would just be laughing like, so they actually take you serious in this office. I'm just kidding. But yeah, he has had a really interesting journey, but I'd like him to tell you about it. So, Mr. Adekoya, Mr. Adetowun, how should I address you, sir?
This is your show, however you want.
Okay.
However you please.
But I want you to be comfortable, actually.
All right. Thank you.
Okay,
I will try to be.
All right. So, Mr. Adekoya, right? So, tell us about your career. How did you get into what you're doing right now? How did you start up? And just a brief summary.
Thank you. First, I want to say that I think it's a huge honor and privilege to be here. And I want to thank my wife. Her career also inspires me, actually. And one thing that I've noticed is somehow our promotions usually align just about 3 months apart, so more or less as she's risen, I've risen, and I think it's really a beautiful thing. And thank you for Tiki Talks. I think it's really a phenomenal concept to help people to make the right decisions where their career is concerned, especially for young people and people in middle management. We're coming for the CEOs too.
Yep.
We're not stopping.
Yep.
We're coming for them too. I've had an interesting career. I think my very first job was actually with my mom, and she had just retired and was running this consulting gig with her friend, and she used to do these trainings almost every month for people in government, people in the private sector, and so on. And one day I just decided to follow her. I don't know whether they needed extra hands, but I just followed her. I remember she paid me $100 for 2 weeks of work. When I queried her, why are you giving me 100 naira? She said, am I not giving you food during the meetings?
Me, I will not pay our children.
Okay.
Will you pay them?
I will pay them.
You pay?
They have to learn the value of money very early.
I will tell them to come and give me. Please go on.
And after that, my next employment really was during COS. That's in my IT in school. And I worked with one of the largest downstream organizations in Nigeria, where we used to blend
pepper.
Not pepper. Engine oil for cars.
So it was oil. You were collecting oil money.
No, it's just blending. So we used to blend different kinds of lubricants for cars, for trucks, for ships actually. And we had some good customers, but I learned to apply what I was learning in school in industry then. And from then after school, I did my NYC with the largest energy organization then globally, of course, the Nigerian arm. And I worked with a team that used to act like consultants to the MD, the planning team. The planning team always works close to the country manager in any energy firm. And then after NYC, I wanted to be retained, but I wasn't. And so I had to get a job. So I volunteered in church, driving myself to my volunteer place, not getting paid.
You were not paid at all?
No, I wasn't paid at all. I think we were given lunch though.
Okay.
But it was my choice anyway. I didn't just want to sit at home. I just wanted to get busy doing something and applying some of the little skills that I had gotten from where I did my NYC. And then not too long after, I think 2 months after, I got to work with #1 financial services firm.
There's #1, the largest, the level. It's like you used to work in small.
We don't do #2.
Okay.
Financial services firm globally. And I was there for 13 months. But because of what I'd been exposed to where I did my NYC, I still wanted to be in the energy space. And so I kept applying. And eventually, in November 2012, I moved to the organization I currently work for. So I've been there for, including training school, 13 years, but outside of training school, 12 years today.
Interesting. Yeah. So some very interesting things that you mentioned, and one of them was when you stopped NYC and then you started working in church, right? Is there anything at all that you learned from working there that helped you on your journey? Because now, when people finish serving, the next thing, I want to get a job, and they already have in their heads what they want to get paid. If they're not going to pay me 500,000 naira, I'm not working there, right? But here you are, you were getting lunch, right? And you stayed there for a few months, right? So what did that do for you, that experience?
Thank you. I think it showed me several things, really, but several things come to mind. First of all, I had learned enough not to be idle. What that means is motion is always going to be better than to be static. Of course, not every time, but whatever your hand finds to do
it.
Just give it your best. There was nothing my hands were doing then. I didn't think I needed new skills at that time. I had the basic skills to be trained into anything. And so I just gave myself some responsibility and I decided to volunteer. I was getting lunch. I must acknowledge the fact that the conditions under which I did that then are slightly different from the conditions under which people are making certain demands about what they want now. But the principle remains the same. Whatever your hand finds to do, while you have it, while you're looking out, Give it your best,
Okay.
you know. I remember I designed certain templates for how we used to handle finance there. There were small projects here and there that the senior
And
pastor...
my husband is still designing templates for our finance, right? He's the financial custodian of our house. So me, I don't used to put my hand in all those things. So I've seen
it's
the
joint
benefit.
because she questions me.
It's 90-10. Anyway,
90-10 is still joint, you know. But I think for me that was priority. Whatever your hands find to do, give it your best, because faithfully little is going to be ruled over much. The attitudes that you have today and little things is the attitudes you're going to take into larger things, you know. It also taught me to go through tough times, right? When you don't have all the money that you want, you learn how to make certain adjustments.
I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you short there, but I personally saw that period, and I saw it wasn't an easy time, actually, you know, coming from... I remember someone made a comment one time and said, when you were still in... I'm going to say the name. You know, you used to hide comment, number one, this, I will say the name. So he served in Mobile. The company he served was Mobile, right? And when he was still in Mobile, we were already dating. And somebody told me that time that, you are dating him because he's a Mobile big boy, because he's earning money. And I was like, but that's not why, you know. And then seeing him go from a Mobile, of course, he was a copper, but you're still a big boy. Going from Mobile to no income, you know. But I saw the dedication, you know. I saw the passion that he just didn't want to be idle. He wanted to do something. And for me, that marked my mind, you know. The me of now, I don't know. But at that time, it marked my mind that, oh, wow, that this guy, despite what happened, like he said, going through the tough times, like, he will not just sit down and say, oh, let the job fall on my laps. I come from Mobile, I cannot just go work somewhere. And the food that they used to give them in Mobile, oh, he used to tell me, even it wasn't a hot chocolate that you guys had a machine or something that time. He would come and tell me of their food, their lunch and all that. And I'd be like, people are enjoying, or you're enjoying it. But then going from that and then now working, volunteering in church, it's not as if they were even looking for somebody. He went there to offer his services, right, at that point in time. And he was driving there, you know, and then you were buying fuel with your money. So it's not just that you were not getting paid, but you were expending your own money, you know, going there and all that. But for him, it was important that you were not idle, you know, whatever your hands find to do, you know, you were doing it. And it just gave me that image that through difficult times, you know, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit down and say, oh, okay, now that Mobile did not retain me, a whole Mobile, and people have seen you, people know that you serve in Mobile, and then all of a sudden they did not retain you. Are you going to sulk about it and say, they did not retain me, so I'm at home, I'm looking? Because people do that, do it as well. I'm looking, and while there's nothing wrong with searching for a job, but is there something you can be doing at that point in time, right? I also want to touch on, because like I said, I have a front row ticket to my husband's life, right? So there's another place where you worked, you know. He said the number one, what did you call it again? No, this is your English. Please say it. The number one accounting firm, ABC number 2.
Financial services.
They said financial services, you know. And I know that, again, that was another company that, like you said, you knew that this was not where you eventually wanted to end up, but you were there for 13 months, right?
Months, yes.
You know, and I think you were even required to write, was it ICANN?
Yes, I was supposed to write ICANN.
Okay, the company, let me cast the company. It was Akintola Williams Deloitte. It's now Deloitte, right?
No, it was always, it's Deloitte, yeah.
It's
Deloitte,
not, okay, yeah. So he was required to write ACCA and all that. And, you know, how was that experience? An industrial chemist in an accounting firm, knowing that he wants to work in energy, you know, how was that entire period?
I think that it was just a very, very important crossroad where you had to make some tough decisions about the path that you want to go in life. I could have stayed. I could have done the exams. I mean, it's still numbers, 1+1. But I just didn't. I didn't see a future in it. And I knew
even
that
though there was money
there was
in
future
it.
money, right? And I just didn't see a future in it. I didn't see myself as a partner. I didn't see myself becoming Minister of Finance. I didn't see myself running a bank. I can own a bank through shares. I mean, I have shares in several banks. But I didn't see myself being a captain of industry in that sphere. And so I had to make a tough decision about myself and go after what I wanted, you know. And I decided to start applying again. And where I applied, of course, there are now tests that I can go through here and trainings that I can go through here. Of course, because this is what I want to do. Bring it on. But I think it was just a very, very important crossroad for me in my career. This is what I want, and this is what I'm going for. And I was not going to stop until I get it. In fact, I must say that not just working anywhere, but working in the kind of organization. Because I remember that I had gotten to the final stage of another energy company shortly after I joined Deloitte then. But then I think I was away at work, and somehow I wanted to travel down and go for but then I just felt, no, not that one. Somehow not that one. And I wanted something else. And shortly after, not too long after, I was very happy that I made the right decision, because that organization went through a very, very tough financial time due to decisions that they had made. And I was happy that I didn't make the switch to them then, you know. So it was just where do I see myself? What do I want? And I go for it, you know. And I continued to, of course, where I was, Deloitte then, I continued to give my best. I got promoted that same year in that place that I didn't really want. So I could just imagine if I now gave it my best, you know, maybe I'll probably still be there now. But this is what I wanted, and I just went for it.
Beautiful. Yeah. I wanted to touch a bit on the balance, if there is a balance between, you know, finding what you really want to do and whatever your hands find to do, do it. You know, we started with whatever your hands find to do. You know, you were volunteering, right? And then you got into Deloitte and you started working in Deloitte. But then you knew that Deloitte was not your end game, right? But at that point in time, I see a lot of people that they'll be like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And then I quit. And then just resign from the job and know that this is not what I want. So was that, you know, balance, or I would say sweet spot, you know, between whatever your hands find to do, do it, and then chasing what you really want to do?
It's a very important thing to analyze personally. Excuse me. But what I like to say is this: there are certain conditions under which you actually should leave. In cases where there's something like maybe sexual harassment, I think it's right for you to exit and report it. You know, I would never ever support you to stay in that kind of experience. You know, either sexual harassment or physical assault. Those are dangerous conditions under which you will be. I mean, you'll be all continuously looking at your back and wondering what's next.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's even verbal assault, right? And you know, all those conditions are not really the best. Of course, however, if it's a condition where you're at least being able to add value and you're still getting some value from that organization, really.
So giving and receiving value.
Giving and receiving value. Yeah. Because as humans, we are not just containers. We're actually also like conduits. So what that means is things should come in and out of us. You know, so if you're able to contribute valuably, and if you're able to also receive value in some way for the organization, while you're waiting for what you want, I think the wise thing is right there to continue. It's just like the example of people who believe that or think that or they have capacity to start businesses. The wise counsel is that, you know, if you can do both for a period, right, until what you are building becomes sustainable, the wise thing is to hold the two eggs at the same time. you know, it's going to be tough things because if you're holding the two eggs at the same time, you're going to have to create time by dropping some other things, right? So the usual time that you've had to do, you know, go to the spa or take a lot of time out with your friends, for a certain period where you're building something, you know, it's important to bring that as priority. While you're adding value where you're at, and then where you're building something. Because you're not always going to be in the building phase. Anything that you see that is built today, at some point there it was a construction site.
Yeah.
But then after a while, what happens? You move in and you just enjoy it. So what's the sweet balance? The sweet balance is you have to, you check, am I still adding value? Am I still getting value? Then it's okay to stay there while you keep looking for what you want. But look out for the conditions under which it absolutely cannot work together anymore. And then it's okay to take the wise decision to just exit. I think that's my thought.
So obviously where you are currently, you are adding value and receiving value because you stayed there for 13 years, including your training period. You know, so really what would you say has made you stay? You know, as your wife, even me, Seth, I used to say, are you not going to look for something else? I remember there were times when I think I even sent you some job openings, Seth, that apply. Like apply for, you can, my husband is a sharp guy. He can be collecting more than what is collecting now and all that. But a few years down the line, when some promotions started happening, I said, thank God you did not listen to me. You know, so what did you see? What are the things that made you stay? Because I hear a lot of people these days saying that the fastest way to rise is to switch between companies. You know, you switch from here, you switch from here. But I have seen you rise in the same company. You know, I joke, even though you don't believe me, but I tell you that you are your company's MVP. Like the way they used to hold my husband like egg. I said, even me, the wife, like sometimes I used to feel like I'm not appreciating him the same way they used to hold him like this. Yeah, but yeah, I know how valuable you are, you know, and I know the things that you have done and stuff. So what would you say has been instrumental in you making that decision to stay for that long? You know, yeah.
Thank you. People are different, to be honest, and some things matter more to certain people compared to other things. There are some tangible things that you can get from an organization: your paycheck, trainings, exposure. But then there are some intangible things that you can also get, like opportunities to, like I like to say, eat what you kill. Not every organization gets to be rewarded based on value that they bring to the organization. Sometimes you will be rewarded, but maybe not at the level at which you deserve. You know, the average person in the organization that I work for thinks very entrepreneurial because it's the very fabric of the organization that we work for.
Within the blood.
You know, that's what is emphasized. That is what is rewarded the most. So the average person is thinking, yes, I'm working on this desk right now, right? But then how can that other desk doing another, adding another value to the organization, how can they add even more, you know? I like to see myself as a very good internal stakeholder. I like to, during my time in the office, I'll go around, have conversations with people, colleagues, superiors, subordinates, just to see what they are doing, understand why they are doing what they are doing. And, you know, I add all that body of knowledge into what I'm doing. And so when two of us are making a presentation about the organization, I'm able to bring a more holistic view, right? And then based on that, you know, I feel like I am adding milestone value. You know, there's incremental value, but milestone value is what an organization. And the truth is, all the places that I've worked, because I've had several roles in my current organization, I'll say I think I'm in my 6th role. I started off.
Sorry, pause on that. So, you have not, even though you have been in the same organization, right? you have moved to different roles. Do you think that was instrumental in you? Because if you had been in the same role or company and all that.
You know, so I was about to just do a little deep dive into that. I started off with infrastructure development, doing analysis, and we had big projects. How do we get funding for it? How do we execute it? What kind of consultants do we need? Took all that, and then we just made a quick acquisition then in the power sector. And I was deployed shortly after to go do some operational efficiency improvement there. And then from then had 3 roles in that part of the organization, adding value, creating systems that will help large organizations to work and operate effectively. 2020, just before COVID, I was moved to the current company within the group of companies that I'm currently working for. And I'm currently on my 2nd role there, right? And then based on that, what it has done for me is, here you go, here you have a big mess to fix. You're able to fix it, you're rewarded, you're taken to the next one. You know, in some cases, it's not a mess, it's something to build. You build the systems around it, and then you're able to. So it's been a lot of engaging work, and as you do the engaging work, you gain experience, you meet people, you add value, there's a body of knowledge that is being created, and you know. So it has really helped my my view about the organization. It is a very dynamic place, you know, very experiential. You have real conversations, real connections with real people, and then you know, it's really, really, really beautiful. And as I am, there's still a lot of gaps that I identify to enter into being chief operating officer, chief executive officer, chief commercial officer, chief marketing officer, and you are put into conditions that those gaps can show, and then you're wise enough to look for a way to fix them, either by trainings or by mentorships or by both, and that just helps you in the organization.
Wow. You know, I particularly love what you said about the different departments and different roles that you have worked in. So really, it's not about the fact that you have been in the same organization for that long, but you are almost the same as somebody that has changed companies 6 times, right? Because you're privileged to be in an organization that has different arms, right? And so you've moved around, you've done different things, particularly in each of those departments. So really, what I'm getting from what you're saying is, yes, you can be in the same organization, but don't be doing the same thing for 13 years, right? No. Don't be saying, okay, I'm growing the career ladder and all that stuff. But it's important, even as an individual, it's important to get diverse experiences, to train yourself in different skills, push yourself in different challenges and all, because it could be a way of, I wouldn't call it redundant or complacency, right? To say, okay, I'm in this organization, okay, they told me to be doing this, I'm doing it, they told me to be moving this from here, and you are moving something from year to year for 10 years. It doesn't make any sense. So, just getting more insight into the fact that it's not just about you have been in that organization, but, you have done different things. So you have even developed yourself better than somebody else that's probably gone to 2 organizations or 3 organizations, which I feel is also something very important. Lastly, I just wanted you to touch on, are there times where you felt discouraged, right? Are there times where you felt like, you didn't feel like doing this anymore, or the organization was not giving you what you wanted, right? And what did you do in those times? Because just to give a bit of context, some people also leave prematurely, right? Maybe just because, and I happen to know when there were some challenges in the organization, and then some things happened as regards pay and all that. At that point in time, some people would leave. Some people would say, oh, I can't take it anymore. You can't, if you cannot pay me what I'm worth, and they pack their bags and they leave, right? But you, despite the ups and downs and all that happened, you stayed. So what is the critical factor to know, okay, when this is temporary, or I actually need to leave here, but focus on what actually made you stay?
Right. Like I was saying, I think that there are several reasons why people are in organizations, some for the tangible, some for the intangible. I feel like I'm building something. And I trust well, of course, they are not God. And, after all, it's employment that brought us together. But I've seen an example from those who have gone ahead of me. And I've seen how that they wouldn't make demands of us that they are not making demands of themselves, So I think that's one thing that has stood out. I'm long term. I feel like I'm building something long term that is going to have an impact on things that I can do long term, right? There are certain platforms and rooms that I will be able to enter into in 5 years as a result of certain exposures that I'm having today, right? So I'm thinking of that 5 years. What aligns with that 5 years? Does where I'm at, does it still align with that 5 years? Or it doesn't align anymore. And if it doesn't, then I have to start making some important decisions, for myself, for my life, for where I'm going, right? Very, very important, right? Very, very important. Challenges will always come. I mean, one of the most recent rules that I had, some policies were released by the government that adversely affected us, right? But what it does is you can either bail out or be creative, right? And begin to see the opportunity in the chaos. Chaos is a time for, it's just like when they talk about the wind blows and something gets exposed. Chaos is like the windy season.
Wow.
If you focus on the wind, you will not see what is being exposed as a result of the wind, right? So if you take a quick step back and, with this wind, what opportunities exist, you will be able to maximize that wind. The truth is sometimes wind can be disguised as coming to destroy you, but no, it's actually packaged to come and expose something good that is good for your future. So that's it. That's it.
Wow, 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 wow. So I've learned so much from this session. He talked about giving and receiving value. He talked about the image that you're seeing in front of you, right? The people that you're working for, are they even exemplifying what they're asking you to do? He talked about having a long-term vision in mind. What you're doing now, does it align with your 5 years plan? Does it align with where you see yourself, right? So don't be so fixated on, I can't work in an organization more than 5 years, I can't work here more than 10 years. And don't be also fixated on getting comfortable where you are currently working. Are you being challenged? Are you being pushed? Are you doing something new? Are you learning something? Are you getting better? Are you improving yourself? Have a goal for yourself. He mentioned something about long-term, vision. Or was it long-term planning or something? Sorry, I've forgotten. Long-term waiting. I'm mesmerized by my husband. Long-term what? Sorry. It's all about long-term view, right? So don't get too comfortable with the present. Have the long-term in mind, right? And such beautiful insights. I hope you will go back, and pick up on all the things that he mentioned. And if you need to watch it again, please watch it again. Till we see you again next time on Tiki Talks. My name is Oraoluwa Adekoya. Please follow us on YouTube and on Instagram. Tiki Talks, that's TIKKYTALKS. See you again next time, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.